Yo, what up guys, me again. And as promised, Demon Hunter is up next. As you probably already know, the power level of the spec is really, really high. You've probably played it against it 1 or 2 or 100 times already, and the damage is pretty nuclear. So I don't know if it's going to get a tuning pass or anything. You know, there's a lot of specs right now that are very powerful, so might be some PvP mods coming in after some of the rework that it got. That's totally fine. It'll still be extremely good. But that's actually one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video so badly, because I'm going to show you the main build, you know, the build that I see most everybody running. Then I'm going to show you an alternate build that I think is actually under the radar and just as good right now. And it's a totally different playstyle and set of talents, so it's going to be really cool in case you wanted something new, or if the main build has some PvP mods attached to it, then this backup build will just, you'll flow right into it and you'll be like, yes, I know exactly what I'm going to do, and you're going to keep pushing rating effortlessly. So yeah, there's already some DH content out there, but I wanted to do that because you know, I've got the discussion style videos that I think resonate with some people, and also the alternate talent choices that I think people might really enjoy. So if this is able to help you in that way, then fantastic. And if not, because you already have some of the info, then that's totally fine. So let me get right into it with gear, of course. So going to sound like a broken record if you watch my previous video or the rest of my videos this season, but haste and mastery, your 2 best stats by far, and then you actually need to lower your versatility. And what do I mean by that? You have too much verse on all of your gear. If I attack a dummy right now and show you the PvP modded verse, it's 35%, and I'm already trying to remove some. That's way too high because it DRs at 30%, and it's already pretty valuable to even go down to like 28, 27% to get as much output stats as you can, because your survivability is already going to be great with 27 or 28% verse, and then you can just do obscene damage, which in pressure is survivability, right? If they're running, if they're dying, if they're panicking, if they have to use defensives and run away and line and kite, then they're not counter pressuring you super well. If they have to death strike or something, you know, against a DK, right? That's also not counter pressuring you super well. So pressure is also survivability, and 27 to 28% versus more than enough. So how are you going to do that? Well, I've got the answer actually. Lifebound equipment. So there's a system called, you know, work orders, right, that you can put in that little crafting place over there. And effectively what you need to do is take a lifebound piece, get the mats for it, then get a missive of fever flare. That's very important, fever flare. And then a item from this guy right here, a trophy of conquest. You actually get 2 for free just by opening one of these boxes. He gives you a quest, you get 2 for free. That's how I made this first one. And then you put the trophy in, and now what you've got is a lifebound belt, haste and mastery. You can put an embellishment. We'll talk about that in just a second. And 489 item level. So you're losing nothing. You get the right stats and you get the right item level. Boom, easy. And that's how you drop first. So simple. The other way, tier set, of course. You can see I've got this helm and it's got main stat haste instead of main stat versatility rather. That switches up how much of each stat you're getting, which helps even lower your verse further. But then you get one of the best tier sets in the game. So we'll talk about that right now. Blade Dance automatically triggering throw glaive is incredible because it effectively front loads your globals, right? Every global of Demon Hunter is so impactful. The more of them you can press, the better. So when you put one fantastic global, throw glaive, into another fantastic global, blade dance, it's front loading that damage, and then you can actually just press another global afterwards. So it's like, it's kind of just on-demand pressure that is all front loaded into one button press. Wow, that's incredible. It actually gets even crazier when you look at the 4 set, which is all those additional throw glaives that you'll be throwing by pressing blade dance and again, funneling it into your rotation passively. We'll just get your hunt back up. Now we know how insane hunt is. And then also hunt itself is doing more damage because the hunt DOT lasts longer. So it's just even more damage from the hunt, and it's more frequent. So of course you're absolutely getting your 4 set. I already got the 2 set right now. The way to do that is by buying the shoulders and converting them, because you can use the catalyst converter in the first week. That's a change into this season. And then I got to 1600, which puts a token into your bags, which you can redeem in the Emerald Dream place. It's like north of the map. I'm sure you can find it. Google, right? And it'll give you an elite piece for free. Make sure you grab the elite piece, not the heroic piece. I grabbed the helmet because, again, main stat haste. That's a ton of haste. I'll show you the build that I prefer that likes haste even more than the other one, I would say, and I'll show you why. But there you go. But then eventually you're going to get the 4 set. So let me show you that too while we're here, of course. Got the helms, got the shoulders. What are the other 2 pieces? Hands and legs. Why? Because they have the least amount of crit on them. The main build that I see does have a crit mod, but crit is nerfed by 50%. I know you know that already, but just think about that. Think if you nerfed verse by 50, you took half your verse away. Well, it wouldn't feel like a very good stat anymore, right? That's what crit is like. So even though there is a crit mod in the other build, I don't think it outweighs the flat nerf. So you will still prioritize haste and mastery, and the legs and the hands are the pieces with the least amount of crit and the most amount of haste and mastery. Boom. Okay, so let's recap real quick. I know that was a lot of information. You lower some of your verse with crafted pieces. You get as much in haste and mastery as you possibly can. Do you want a stat to stack? Sure. Stack mastery. How do you do that? Jewelry. Here's a mastery piece. I haven't even gemmed it yet, but you can throw 3 sockets in here. Mastery gem, mastery main, mastery gem, right? Then mastery enchant on ring, mastery enchant on ring, right? Mastery gem here, mastery gem there. You get sockets over the season. That's how you would prio mastery, and I do believe you should do that because it's just your best output stat overall. You lower the verse with the lifebound equipment. Then you can see I put an embellishment on this already. What does it give you? Mastery. Is that self-explanatory? Absolutely. You also have a ton of self-healing to keep you above this threshold, which just keeps your pump as high as possible. The other one I'll probably grab, embellishment-wise, is the CC gives you primary stat because you have Chaos Nova and you have Fell Eruption, and those things stun, and during those stuns you want to do a lot of damage, and it just adds a little bit more primary stat to those windows. The 4 set, absolute no-brainer, and you get helm, shoulders, hands, legs, done. That's gearing. If I missed anything at all, please ask the question in the comments. But I know that what people really want to see right now is the talents. So let's get right into it. I'm going to start with the general build that I see most entirely everybody running. And then I'm going to give you the alternate one that I think is really cool. And actually the one that I play in solo shuffle. Now, the hardest thing about Demon Hunter is actually getting a solo shuffle queue. I'm about 2,500 MMR right now. I went 5-1 at 24. Pretty proud. And then it said my average wait time was 1 hour and 30 minutes. So I don't really have the time for that right now. I have YouTube videos to make. So I run the build, the second build, but I'm going to have to play it a lot more to even make my CR match my MMR. So wish me luck sitting through those queues. Anyway, anything I can do, you can do better, right? This is going to be the exact sauce you need to climb rating this season. I promise. Here's the main build. You go down the entire right side, no brainer. This is because everything in this right side is one of 3 things: blade dance damage, throw glaive damage, and Immo damage. And Immo, combined with this new talent, a Fire Inside, which is absolutely crazy, is going to be crazy damage. Blade Dance, you've probably gotten hit for a 300k Blade Dance, so you don't need me to tell you why. And then Throw Glaive is baked into your Blade Dance, and it puts a dot on them, and it just pads like absolute nuts with your Immo pad, so that does crazy damage. So let me just go through and show you what I mean. Immo, Fury Generation, Blade Dance damage, Throw Glaive damage, Blade Dance shield, or Mortal Strike if you don't have one. So that's with playing with a Frosty K, or a Destro Lock, right? Or maybe a Shadow Priest. You'd run Mortal Dance. Otherwise, if you're playing with an Arms Warrior or a Windwalker Monk, you could play Deflecting Dance, and he'd be even tankier. More Blade Dance damage, more Throw Glaive damage, Blade Dance damage, Immo, Throw Glaive, right? So that entire right side is just a bunch of passive no-brainer talents. Do you have to play around it? No. It's a part of your basic rotation with Blade Dance and Immo Aura. I mean, you just press those buttons and they go off, right? Then finally, you have Chaotic Disposition at the bottom, which is just more chaos damage. Wow. It's a little 17-7 thing. It doesn't matter the exact numbers. You're just going to do more damage. Then at the very bottom, you have this capstone talent that was incredible last season. It's incredible this season, where it takes all of your elemental damage and turns it to chaos damage. And you have some elemental damage in here, of course, right? You got the Hunt, nature. You got Flames of Fury, that's your sigil, that's fire. You've got Immo, that's fire. It effectively takes all of these different types of damage that can really pump by themselves and then applies your mastery to it. Wow, right? So that's an absolute no-brainer, and that's why mastery is your best stat by far. It's just the raw output is out of this world. So of course, you need any means necessary. Then you go right down the left side. You get Vengeful Retreat, resets your crit chance mod. This thing is not super good because crit chance is not super good, but it leads to the rest of these very impactful talents. And if you Vengeful Retreat on cooldown for Fury Gen, which you should, we'll get to that. Well, there it is, right? Vengeful Retreat gives you Fury Gen and has a shorter cooldown. So you Vengeful Retreat and then you get a little extra crit chance, which is not terrible. Because, I'll skip to it, this is what I was talking about, right? When I was talking about you have a crit damage mod that makes crit chance slightly better. Now this is 80% of your crit chance is your crit damage. So it's not going to outweigh a 50% negative mod. But it does make the small amounts of crit chance you get from here and actually from here, right? That's Immo Aura crit chance. Just slightly less pain point to like hit those, right? Because you got a little crit damage mod, it's going to hit harder than most people's crits do. Okay, so you can Vengeful Retreat on cooldown to reset that, and you get 80 Fury over the duration of 10 seconds, which is awesome because it's just more Fury Gen to press your unbelievably powerful globals. But then you get to the sauce here, which is you have 2 charges of Immo from Fire Inside. And they can refund a charge, and you can have multiple Immo auras up at once. So you can just press Immo, and then Unbound Chaos Fel Rush, 250% more damage from your next Fel Rush. Then another Immo, then another Fel Rush. And you're not overlapping the Immos because they can stack. So you can do Immo Fel Rush, and just have spike damage, spike damage, spike damage, and you're not even overlapping anything. You're not munching any Immo damage. You're actually gaining more Immo damage. Wow. Finally, you have the thing that brings all of this together, literally, because this is how you connect to know your enemy, because you're not going over on this side. But also, it's literally how you just increase your mods to obscene levels, because I just told you how your Immo Fel Rush is crazy damage. Well, it also increases your damage done during that time. And that's not a small number, right? Okay. So you can see the power of this build, right? You got elemental damage, you got Immo, you got Throw-Glaive, you got Throw-Glaive Dot, you've got insane blade dances, and then you've got insane Fel Rush and a ton of Fury Gen from this entire side. But you get one more button just for free by going over there, and it's a doozy. Essence Break. We already talked about how hard Blade Dance hits. Well, what happens when you buff the damage even further with Essence Break? And Essence Break itself is not too shabby of a hit. So, there's the spike. Then you also have spike from Fel Rush. Spike from, just ramping up into a couple of annihilations. You have spike from a huge hunt. But then you have the pad from Throw-Glaive, the pad from Immo, the pad from Sigil of Flame. And we're going to talk about the Demon Hunter left tree after I run through both of these unique builds, because it's going to be the same for both. So, I don't want to do that twice. That would be a waste of your time. And I already talked too much as it is, so sorry. So you've got spike and pad and overwhelming damage. And if you've ever seen a Demon Hunter tripling the damage of your team, this is why. There is a notable missing talent, which is Fel Barrage here. I think that's an easy swap of just capstone to capstone, right? The reason I don't run it is because the Fury Drain is a little rough, and I do believe that because it's at the top of everybody's meters, it's going to be the first thing that maybe might get a PvP mod, right? When there's something that's like, oh, this is all their damage, it bursts people, everybody's like, oh, Fel Barrage, oh, another Fel Barrage, I got one shot, right? That's this sort of thing when we're talking about what they've PvP modded in the past. That's the sort of thing that gets a PvP mod, negative PvP mod, right? So if you're already running this really also fun spike version of the build, you don't have to worry about, oh, my build got nerfed, Demon Hunter's going to suck. You're going to be like, wait, no, I wasn't even ready. Oh my God, I'm just as powerful as I used to be, right? So that's just a guess. But personally, again, 5-1, we're pretty decent MMR. I'm really not trying to gloat. I swear to God, you could log onto a Demon Hunter and do the exact same thing. I just think that The power level of this build is obscene, even if you don't have the flashy Fel Barrage, and I don't like draining my Fury because I have a lot of other things that I like doing with it, which I'm going to show you in the next build. Because I don't even run this one, but I know it's insanely powerful, so I had to show you, and there is the swap, right? As I always do, I want to be as thorough as possible and give you all the information, so there you go. Look at it on the screen. I could link both in the description, but I'll probably just link one, and that's how you swap between setups. If Fel Barrage gets nerfed, you can do this, or if you just like it better. If otherwise, if you want the flashy Fel Barrage one-shot, there it is. Whew. Sorry, I talk a lot. I just want to get you guys the best information. Okay, but here, this is what I was waiting for. Very excited. This is the Shattered Destiny build that I actually much prefer. It is so fun, and let me show you why. So you drop the Immo damage package. You drop this, you drop this, you drop that. Instead, you opt for Chaos Theory, some I-beam Fury generation, and then Shattered Destiny, the namesake, to get I-beams up as much as possible. When you get those I-beams up as much as possible, you have this crazy 1-2 punch go that I'm about to explain to you very thoroughly. That is just extremely fun. So we don't have to talk about all the Throw Glaive and Blade Dance modifiers again. I just did it. They're really good. They're still really good in this build. So when you go over, instead, you have this left side, which is I-beam damage, and I-beam Fury gen. I-beam gives you haste, which you already had in the last one. Then I-beam does critical strikes. You actually didn't have that in the last one. Crit is not that great, but again, you don't have any crit, so you're not munching any crit chance that you have. And this just makes effectively I-beam do 50% more damage, because if crit damage is 50% PvP and it's guaranteed critical strikes, then I-beam will now do 50% more damage. So that's what you could effectively say. This is a 50% damage month I-beam, which is no joke. Especially when you make it last longer and increase its damage even further with Blind Fury. Then you come out of that Blind Fury and you press a Blade Dance because you got maximum Fury because it generates it, right? And that gives you Chaos Theory. Now this is, again, a crit chance mod, which is not as good, does some extra damage, but it's also an immediate refund of Fury, which then can help you start generating soul fragments, which generate Fury, which then allow you to continue pressing Annihilation. So what happens in this build is you're playing entirely around what kind of window? An Essence Break window. You I-beam, you get Max Fury. You Essence Break, you Blade Dance, then you get a Chaos Theory proc, which gives you a huge Annihilation because that is also buffed by Essence Break, refunds your Fury, you press it again and again and again and again and again, and probably have some soul fragments and do it again. And then some other Fury gen from other places, so you do it again. And you just, the single target pressure of that, I'm going to show you in a second. It's incredible. So you have this build that prioritizes that chaotic, that Essence Break rather, window so well. But then when you're pressing all those, the refunded Chaos Strike, refunded, right? Full Fury from the souls, right? And then the full Fury from the I-beam. What you're getting then is Fury Spent, which then reduces the cooldown of, extends the duration rather of your I-beam meta. So now you're in meta for much longer. And then here's the cycle of hatred, right? You are now reducing the cooldown of your I-beam from all those buttons that you were pressing during the extended meta. It's a positive feedback loop. You guys know how much I like that synergistic positive feedback loop. So if you're extending the meta form from I-beam and then you're getting I-beam up more often, then you just keep rotating this crazy setup. I-beam, Essence Break, Blade Dance, Annihilation, 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 Annihilation. You extend that meta and then you get your I-beam back up, and then you I-beam again, and then Blade Dance again, and then Annihilation, Annihilation. Okay. There you go. Sorry, takes a little while to get all that out. It's like 6 talents that are all working in tandem. And I'm going to show you on the dummy in just like 5 seconds here. Well, not literally, but very soon. The final thing that you get as a result of this is Inner Demon. Because you're getting into Metamorphosis much more often, then you are also unlocking Inner Demon much more often, which just deals chaos damage, and it's a huge spike damage on top of your already obscene go. So let me show you what it looks like real quick. If you Immo, Fellblade, I-beam, then watch this glow. And now you can just press, 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 press. Now you can meta, do it again, and then you can I-beam. Look how my Fury is not going down at all. You can I-beam and do it again. And this time you can throw in the Essence Break. It's just non-stop. Look at my Annihilation damage. This is probably something you haven't seen a Demon Hunter do, right? When you see their damage breakdown, it's generally much different than this. But 30% of my damage is a single target ability that's very difficult to peel because of your obscene mobility, crazy Fury generation, and it's just a button press, right? It's not like a setup. You just press, press, you're going hard, right? So as a result, you have this build that's giving you so much single target pressure, which is incredible in solo shuffle. You can land kills with it. But it's also more than that, because there's something else that Metamorphosis gives you. It's more self-healing and just more damage with every button press, and also more haste from being in meta. So when you're extending your meta, you're getting all those benefits for longer. And when you're getting into meta more, you're getting all those benefits for longer, right? It's a crazy synergistic setup, right? If you play this, you will be in meta all the time, crazy self-healing, crazy haste, crazy Fury generation, crazy single target pressure, with refunded Chaos Strikes to make sure that that on-demand window that you want so badly is always active. It's always pressable. And on top of all this, your I-beam is not kickable anymore. So setting up this go is really, really consistent. You can get a full I-beam out, which gives you the 10% haste, gives you the full Fury, and gives you the Blade Dance Chaos Theory combo. Okay, I talked about that a lot, but that build, I don't see a lot of people running this yet. Maybe I'm crazy. I checked the first like 5-6 people in solo shuffle at the time of making this video. I didn't see this setup. I think it's under the radar. You can tell me in the comments if you've seen it or not, and if you want to try it or not. God, you even get Isolated Prey. Oh, there's so many synergistic talents. I forgot about this one, right? You get 30% more I-beam damage as long as you're hitting one target, which, again, if you're in a single target situation, which is what this build is all about. Look at this. Maximum damn I-beam, Essence Break, Blade Dance, single target. Oh my God, I just saw the 300k on my screen. Almost puked. Almost puked, dude. That's just disgusting. Then Blade Dance, Annihilation for free, Annihilation for free, Fellblade, I-beam back to full, Blade Dance, Annihilation for free, Annihilation for free, Annihilation for free. It never ends. It's 200k. It's stupid. It's so stupid, dude. And I don't see people running this build. Absolutely crazy. So, finally we have PvP talents. Chaotic Imprint is an absolute requirement. It's the whole Throw Glaive package, and it buffs all your other damage. Just run it and forget about it. It's totally passive. Just always run Chaotic Imprint, period. Now you have some choices. Glimpse, if for a skill shot, you can actually immune an incoming kidney if you predict it while you're in the air. You are completely immune to everything. You could immune an incoming poly or an incoming clone. It's a really cool skill shot, and Glimpse has a lot of value there. Rain from Above, I think, is probably less valuable now that your rotation hits so hard that going up there into space does not feel like it's a very good use of your time. And your self-healing is really good, so I'm not sure you need the extra defensive. Especially if you're able to use the Blade Dance shield. My God, I just really think that's a little bit excessive right now. So instead, I use Blood Moon, which just gives you extra soul fragments, extra healing, and it has a chance to give you the demon buff. Oh my God, that's just even more damage to your already obscene toolkit. I don't even need to explain that one to you. And of course, reverse magic. This is a great button. In solo shuffle, you can just grab somebody's trap. Maybe you don't get to communicate in regular threes. You can be like, okay, I got your next trap, right? But if they're in a CC and you get it and they save their trinket, maybe that's a win condition for you guys. You know, you can get a Hodge, you can get a Poly, you can get a trap, right? You can get a Fear. There's a lot of things you can get with reverse magic, or you could even get your own roots for the kill, right? Reversing this root to kill, right? Here's another thing you can do. Okay, very cool PvP talents right there. Very quick, which is great because everything else took so long. And finally, we conclude the video with the left side of the talent tree. So you've got fire damage healing. You've got Healing from Shattered Souls, right? You've got a ton of self-sustain in here. Here's the Throw Glaive, extra dam. Here's the Throw Glaive 2 charges. This is absolutely required, so somehow if you miss this talent, you're out of your mind, right? You could get the slow, or you could get the longer range, but I don't think you would need the longer range because you're generally getting a lot of Throw Glaives from Blade Dance, which means you're on top of them, right? You're not going to Blade Dance air to throw a glaive 10 yards farther, right? So I think the slow is going to be better. I don't think that's controversial at all, right? So, but just wanted to show that little choice node there, but you need the 2 charges, of course. Chaos Nova is your stun, Fell Blade is your charge, and your Fury Gen with Demon Blade. Magic Damage Reduct, Health, these are just survivability. Now you've got extra movement speed, you've got Darkness, a major defensive cooldown. You go down this line and get Collective Anguish. I have seen the Elysian Decree one shot, so that's how you get it. If you're a big fan of one-shot builds, then Elysian Decree is that. If you want the more sustain, especially with Shattered Destiny, I would never recommend swapping off of the Collective Anguish with Shattered Destiny because you get more I-beams, which is more healing and more damage. Ugh. Then you got Hunt. You're running Hunt. Then you got Demonic. You're running Demonic, right? This is your I-beam gives you meta, all right? You got your self-healing from Leech, and this is the meta, gives you even more Leech. And then finally, you've got, there we go, Sigil of Flame deals more dam. So the one thing I didn't mention while I was showing the rotation, I'm going to do a brief rotational display of the other build as well, because I wanted to show you the positive feedback loop. One thing that you would also throw into that rotation, Sigil of Flame. Why? Because it does insane damage. Just press it in PvP and you'll see it does completely insane damage. It's a huge sigil on the ground, and it actually cleaves for a lot and puts a dot on them that cleaves and pads for an enormous amount. And of course, as anything, it works with any means necessary to get your chaos damage rather than fire. Okay, so there's your self-healing and your output. Left side of your tree with your you've got your Fell Blade and your Chaos Nova for mobility and stuns, respectively. And that is everything that I can think of for how to build this dang character. Of course, all the builds will link below, so you could follow along, or you could just take the build and then go play. You don't even have to listen to me chirp about it. But then finally, let me show you this Immo setup. And I'll do it on the cleave dummies. Obviously, the damage will be just disgusting, but I think it helps to show like how the all of your setup can really do well padding multiple players, cleaving multiple players, right? So I'll get that bonus right here from attacking the PvP dummy, and then we'll go right into it. So you get that Immo out, the Fell Rush, right? Blade Dance to throw a glaive. You get the Essence Breakout with a meta, Blade Dance, Annihilation. You can throw the Hunt in there. You get the I-beam, and there's that one button. Sigil Flame down. Blade Dance. It's kind of just a priority system, right? Immo, Fell Rush, Immo. Am I doing 500k DPS? Poggers. Very good for us. Right, so what the main priorities are, when I just had to run through it myself to make sure, because there's so many different priorities. You've got Immo, every time it's up, followed by an immediate Fell Rush. When Blade Dance is up, you press. It'll throw the glaive, so you don't have to press that. When you're doing your biggest Blade Dance, you got to throw out the Essence Break. When you have the Hunt and you've got multiple targets in a line, you press it and you one-shot somebody, and then Sigil of Flame hits really hard. I pressed it one time, that cleave fight, right? And it hit for 700k to all the dummies. Now, in PvP, you're not going to have 5 people stacked on top of each other unless you're playing against a demo lock, in which case you will kill all their pets at the same time, or a BM Hunter, my god. But you just press it. Right? You just press it on them, and it does unhealable damage, like everything else in your toolkit. So a priority system of Blade Dance when it's up, I-beam when it's up, Immo when it's up, and Fell Rush when it's up, right? So the problem is you're going to have all of those things up at the beginning. The way I did it is the first Immo gives you the first Fell Rush, right? So you would go over. You've got the first Immo gives you the first Fell Rush, and then the first I-beam then can give you the first Essence Break into Blade Dance, right? And then you can get the second Immo Fell Rush, and then you can reset it all with meta, which is not up yet. Then if you have Kill, you have Hunt, and you can Hunt into Sigil of Flame. Ugh. The rotation, that said, though, let's say you did it, all of those things, but you reverse the order on 2 of them. You're still going to be doing the most unhealable damage in the game. In fact, my order may not even be systematically, robotically perfect, right? There's probably a sim-based way, but those sims will never help you in PvP because all of these things change. Let's say you're not next to a guy. He's kiting you a little bit. You can Immo to get the Immo set up, and then you can Fel Rush through them and toward them to get the Fel Rush damage, and now you're on top of them so you can I-Beam Blade Dance. But if you're already on top of them, maybe you I-Beam Blade Dance, Immo Fel Rush, right? Trying to get a pristine, when you have so many different priority buttons and so many different circumstances that can happen, right? Maybe they're all stacked up and you want to do an Immo Unbound Chaos. Or maybe your I-Beam just came back up, you need meta for a little bit of self-healing, you get the I-Beam full duration, you get the haste from it, Blade Dance, you get a ton of self-healing there, right? There's too many priorities, you can't sim PvP. So as long as you understand the interactions, the Immo gives you a Fel Rush. That does a ton more damage because of Unbound. You want to I-Beam before you Blade Dance because I-Beam, Essence Break, Blade Dance makes your Blade Dance hit as hard as possible because you get the meta bonus and the Essence Break bonus. Hunt is a good button and you can press it when it's up, especially if you can kill people from across the map. Meta resets your I-Beam and your Blade Dance, so you generally want to, get your I-Beam out, your Blade Dance out, and then meta. Because now they're back up, right? So as long as you understand the interactions and the potential priorities there, if you go in with either of these builds and these stats and the tier set that I just talked about how to get, and you play your first solo shuffle, and it's the first time you play Demon Hunter, you're about 1800, you will do more damage than every other person in the arena. The end. Okay. A little long-winded, but I hope I got you every possible bit of information you could need to succeed. And if you do, mention it in the comments below. And if you have any questions or anything I somehow didn't talk about, which seems crazy because I talk too much, but I'm sure there's something, just tell me and I promise I'll answer. Peace. Thanks for watching.